Riverboat. It was built on the Mississippi River in 1981 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. It was taken down the Mississippi to Evansville, Indiana. Operated for 5 years on the Ohio River. Then it went to Arkansas. Operated 15 years on the Arkansas River. 24 years ago, we went to Arkansas, bought the boat, changed the name, had 2 huge trucks bring it up here to Michigan. It weighs over 60 tons, has a capacity of 150 plus crew. That many were on board, 140 could be up here on the upper deck, all squeezed over along the rail on one side. The boat would still be stable. So you can move around all you want. Boat's not going to move under you. You go between decks anytime. You're going to walk out in front of the pilot house on the upper deck. That's okay. You can stand out there. Captain can see by you. Not a problem. We do ask if you go out there, wait for us to blow the whistle since it's out there. Don't want to be there when that happens. We'll do that right after we leave the dock. Once you hear it, you can move around. As soon as we get sideways in the river, we're going to blow the big horn on the boat again. It's located out in front of the pilot house. It's on a white pylon in front of the captain's window. If you look out there, right beyond him, you can see it up there. It's brass and bronze. This is called the Kallenberg triple chime. These were common on riverboats in the 1800s. Those were steam-powered vessels, so they used steam to blow them. They could do that all they wanted. We're diesel-powered, so we have to use compressed air. And we can only do that for about 7 seconds. It empties at 200 and you're on your way to Nolens. There are not too many horns you can feel when you blow them. I really do think it would be fun to put one of these on an SUV. I'm sure some of you looked down at the boat and thought it wouldn't fit under these bridges. Actually, it doesn't. We just go back and forth in here. Boats like this in the 1800s were called packet boats. A packet boat carried passengers, but also carried a lot of cargo. Quite often on a packet boat, on the lower level, they'd build a deck that extended about 9 feet on either side of the hull. Usually they'd stack cotton bales on those. Sometimes they'd stack them so high the captain could hardly see where he was going. It made them a lot of extra money, but it also caused a problem because sparks came out of the smokestacks and set fire to the cotton bales. Riverboats evolved very quickly with tall stacks, sometimes 60 to 70 feet high. In fact, every 4 years in Cincinnati, there's been a festival called Tall Stacks, where riverboats from all over the country come up the Mississippi and up the Ohio to Cincinnati, where you can ride on all different sizes of these vessels. The tall stacks solved the problem of setting fire to the cotton bales, but it caused another problem. As years went on, more and more roads were built, therefore bridges were built that they couldn't get under. So riverboats are one of the few vessels that have smokestacks that retract. The original design was to put a hinge at the bottom of the stack on the backside right at the deck. They would have lines hanging off the backside of the stack and lines hanging off the front going down to an A-frame on the bow. When they came to a low bridge, half the crew would get on the bow, half the crew would get behind the stacks. The crew in the back would pull back on the lines while the crew in the front let the A-frame come up. The stacks would retract. After they did that, they cleared the bridge. They'd reverse that process. That was dangerous because the stacks were so tall and heavy. They were also hot and full of soot on of it. So they simply moved the hinge up toward the top, put a counterweight on the outside so one person could easily tip them back. The top of this, the only problem in tipping our stacks back because they're not functional. They can fill up with water. But that only affects people up here in the first class seats. We do have a name for it. We call it riverboat baptism. But we don't charge extra for that. We normally clear the bridge by about 18 inches. But in marine navigation, an inch is a mile. If you miss something by an inch, you might as well be a mile away. The two sides of the boat are the port and the starboard. The port is on the left as you face the front, and the starboard is on the right. If you want to remember that, port is spelled with 4 letters, and so is left. Over on the port side, in front of the water, near the shore, there's a piece piece of concrete. It's not always visible, but it's the last remaining piece of a sawmill that was there for many years. From 1850 to 1890, the Saginaw Valley that we're in was the world's largest producer of white pine lumber. Every waterway in the state was used to pull logs down to a sawmill, where it was cut up and shipped all over the world. That was true in this river, and that's also what that mill did. The mill was built in 1847. Just about any town you go to in Michigan that's on or near a waterway, someone can show you very large homes. They will tell you were built by lumber barons, and that's when the lumber barons cashed in from 1850 to 1890. We're on the Cass River. The Cass was named after Lewis Cass. He was only 31 years old at the time. He had already been a brigadier general in the Army. He was appointed governor by the president because Michigan was still a territory. In fact, surveyors had gone back to Washington after looking over this territory and described it as an uninhabitable, worthless, mosquito-infested swamp. So they didn't think too much of us. Lewis Cass had a much better image of this area. A lot of things here are named after him. Cities, streets, and also rivers. Also on the left side of the boat was a dike with a concrete wall on the top. That was put there in the 1950s by the Corps of Engineers. Before that was in place, Frankenmuth would flood every year. It was quite common, especially in the spring, to see almost main streets. The higher the water is, places ranging from 6. The water went all the way up to the top of the concrete wall. So the Corps of Engineers did a pretty good job figuring out what the 100-year flood level would be using slide rules before computers. Major improvements were made to the dike and a scenic river walk was added in 2020. Obviously, the other side of the river does flood. No dike on that side. The Bavarian Lodge over there, for the most part, is built above the 100-year flood. The yellow portion would have gotten wet if it wasn't there then. The lodge originally was 100 rooms. Today it's 355. It has 5 indoor pools. It also has an indoor 18-hole miniature golf course. The other side was Weiss Farm. Weiss Farmhouse and right near the main lobby is. Those large architectural elements of the roof look like onion domes are actually onion domes. Kind of like a weak name, but that's what they're called. Those are common in Bavaria. Bavaria is a fairly large number of Germany. At one time, it was a separate kingdom, and that's where the settlers of Frankenmuth originated. The Cass River is very shallow. Off of our dock is the deepest portion of this part of the river. It's 12 to 15 feet deep there. Right here, it's only 6 or 7 feet deep. That's one of the advantages of a true flat-bottom riverboat. This is built exactly like the Mississippi River. The bottom is flat and it has no keel. The advantage to that is that we can carry a tremendous amount of weight. Even though the boat weighs well over 50 tons, we can add 150 passengers to that. There's only 24 inches of the boat beneath the water. It sounds silly, but you can be standing in water a little above your knees. We can float right by you fully loaded. The paddle wheel does drive us forward and reverse, driven by a decent hydraulic system. It is real, not fake. In fact, it only goes in the water 10 inches. A packet boat captain once said that a correctly designed packet boat should be able to float on the marine dew. Most of the homes along Main Street Frankenmuth have been converted to business. Right here on the left, beyond the concrete wall, are still residences. That large brown house actually had a twin on the property where the Bavarian Lodge sits. When the lodge was built, parts of that home were used to expand this house and also do some architectural corrections to it. Frankenmuth, and it was known around the world. His wife was involved in building the hotel and named it after him. It took some time to complete the structure because of the small size of the property. All the parking had to be under the building. Brick building on the left for over 100 years was a brewing company. It opened in 1862 as Cass River Brewing. It later became Geyer Brothers. They moved to Frankenmuth beer and also Pioneer Ale. In 1996, they were still in business. A tornado came through Frankenmuth, did a lot of damage, and also destroyed several homes. It destroyed a good part of this building. Today, it is Frankenmuth Brewery's restaurant. Also up ahead of us on the left is a red brick building and some silos. That is Star of the West Milling Company. Star of the West is a major supplier in the United States of flour that's used for making pie crust and also cookies. And that's because they mill Michigan white wheat, which is very low in gluten and is ideal for that purpose. If you've ever had any Sara Lee products or Pepperidge Farm products, or perhaps a pie from McDonald's restaurants, you've had Star of the West flour. The company is named after a Civil War ship. It's over 100 years old. That large silo one they have holds 260,000 bushels of wheat, and that's only a 22-day supply of wheat for the mill. On the right side of the boat, This river has a lot of turtles in it. Turtles like to lay in the sun because they're cold-blooded. Helps them digest their food. We got plenty of sun today. That's good. This river also was home to one of the largest freshwater turtles in North America, the spiny softshell. Spiny softshell turtles, besides being large, have another reason to be famous. They're one of the fastest turtles on land. If you go online and go for the spiny softshell running, it's scary. Turtles should not go that fast. On the right side of the boat is Heritage Park. Looks a lot like any other city park with soccer fields and softball diamonds, but it's also the site of many festivals throughout the year. The four largest are the Bavarian Festival, the Music Fest, the Oktoberfest, and the Autofest. The Autofest attracts 2,000 automobiles in the park every year. Classic automobiles. It's one of the neatest family events in Frankenmuth. Also, the Oktoberfest is the only one outside the original in Munich, Germany, that's sanctioned by the German government. The first Oktoberfest was held in Munich in 1810 as a 3-week celebration for the wedding of King Ludwig and Princess Teresa. It's still held every year today, and it's the world's because the weather is better. A large blue and white building at Heritage Park on the right is a Harvey Kern Pavilion. Someone, even in a wheelchair, has the opportunity to possibly launch and redock their own kayak. The seats that come with the handrails and the bulkhead. Most of the summer you can rent kayaks. Usually that trailer is here with the kayaks.
go inside that street. That's Memorial Park, and it's very hilly. It's got fantastic sledding hills in it. It has a hole. There's also a splash pad in that park. The performance there tonight is Frank Sinatra. It is not some local guy that thinks he can sing. Well, it is a local guy, but he is a true Frank Sinatra. He was in Florida now. His parents actually owned the newspaper here and went to school with Mitch and Frank and Mitch schools. But anyway, he'll be here tonight. Just ahead of us on the right, a lot of trees along that side, the high bank of some of the acres of farmland. And on the left side, much lower elevation, there's a road that runs parallel to the shoreline on that side. As I said, it's about 900 feet into the water. There's homes along there, so that's looking at the backyard. There are the homes out in the water. We also see great horned owls. Great horned owls are big, they're 2 feet tall. The only bigger owl in North America is a great gray owl in Alaska. And it's just a couple inches taller than a great horned owl.
And it stands today, just as it did 100 years ago. That dam was built in 1848 as a power source for the Hubinger flour mill. Except for a 30-year span, Evinger Mill continued to produce flour until the early 1990s. This part of the river is a great I guess you could call them tree hogs. Groundhogs, tree hogs, whistle pigs, marmots, snow pigs. Every place you go, they have a different name.
And if we put one on, there's no way we'd get under the covered bridge. So the first thing we did was cut the steel off the roof. We cut 7 feet off the pylon arch going down the highway before. The 1,100-mile trip from Arkansas should have taken 4 or 5 days. But because of bad weather with ice in the south and snow up here in the north, it took over 2 months. It could not travel on interstates because it would shut down one direction of an interstate. It had to travel on Class A state highways and U.S. highways, and every time it did that, it required at least 5 police cars to escort it. It sat for a month in Angola, Indiana, waiting for the snowbanks to recede before the state of Michigan would allow us to enter the state. When it finally did arrive in Frankenmuth, we brought it into Heritage Park on the left side of the boat. If you look at the pavilion, you can see a black fence, and at the right end of that, a gravel road coming into the park. That road had to be rebuilt because it wasn't suitable to carry a load this size. When the truck arrived with a boat on it, it had already been done. It was able to come down onto the grass. It was nice green grass at that point because we had spent the previous 2 months plowing all the snow off of it. It came parallel to the sidewalk, went up to the sycamore tree, between that and the leaning tree, and we had 2 175-ton frames taken off the truck, set on timbers, and we started to rebuild it. There's a lot of areas down below. We elected to strip that back to dirt metal, and that's all been redone. Part of the sharing, and it's finished. That was finished with the in fact, our training and the intermodal work loading challenges. The pilot on the pump side you may be asking, in Frankenmuth, we brought it into Heritage Park on the left side of the boat. If you look at the pavilion, you can see a black fence, and at the right end of that, a gravel road coming into the park. That road had to be rebuilt because it wasn't suitable to carry a load this size.
We can say